To continue on with my If I Own That Park series, today I'll be discussing the hypothetical scenario of me taking over ownership of Six Flags New England. Located in Agawam, Massachusetts, Six Flags New England has 12 roller coasters, a giant water park, and a slew of thrill rides and other various attractions. Of what I've been able to gather, Six Flags has a decent amount of property with the ability to expand. With this knowledge, I know that I have the opportunity to put some serious investments into this already decent Six Flags park. Just like my other If I Owned That Park series, I will be breaking down my enhancements by years, starting off with 2021. Six Flags New England has already announced a new ride for 2020 with the Supergirl Sky Flyer. Before I start breaking down my additions, I need to tackle some house cleaning issues, as it were. Since I would not be a part of the Six Flags chain, all of the IPs that the park has currently would have to go, and of course the park name would need to change. Before the days of Six Flags, the park did go by a few names. The most recent was Riverside The Great Escape. Instead of going back to an old name, I would completely rebrand the park as New England Adventure Park. Sounds a little corny. Okay. The park would be split up into 4 sections. Each area will focus on a unique destination of exploration and/or places of history. The water park would be themed to the ocean and renamed Ocean Adventures. My goal of this park would be to encourage innovation and exploration. Gotham City area of the park will get rethemed to space exploration. The middle section of the park, including the park entrance area, would also stay mostly the same. DC Superhero Adventures would get rethemed to the Amazon, so like a jungle theme. Finally, the left wing of the park that includes Wicked Cyclone would get a theme to the New England states. Jumping into 2021, one of the first things that I would work on right away would be fixing up my space exploration section of the park. Joker would get completely enclosed, simulating the sensation of free falling through space, and renamed Orbiter, or something else, who knows. With Orbiter being completely enclosed, the one side of the building facing towards the water park would get some rock work done, so it helps separate the water park from the rest of the park. Batman the Dark Knight would be rethemed to the Ares Space Shuttle, thus renamed Ares. Some of the arcade games that are in this area would be removed. I want this section of the park to stay as true to space exploration as possible, possibly even throwing in some good educational material as well. Riddler Revenge and Harley Quinn would both get some space retheme, but do note that Riddler Revenge will face its demise in the coming years. The swing ride will need to get relocated more to the middle of the park, since I feel that that would be out of place with my rethemed space area. Before the ending of the year, 2 big changes would take place, and that would be the removal of Flashback and Goliath. I'm not a fan of boomerang coasters, and Goliath is a maintenance nightmare. With these 2 coasters out of the way, that will allow a decent amount of land to work for future expansion. 2022, I would start working on the expansion of the New England area of the park. If possible, I would keep Wicked Twister as is. The name works great for the ride. The main entrance of the park would ape off the New England feel, and I would introduce some American history into this section of the park. Maybe recreate the Freedom Trail starting from the entrance of the park, ending all the way over by like the New England Skyscraper. The kids section would get some historical upgrade, make it a little patriotic. Overall, I want this section of the park to remind my guests of the history of the United States. My overall inspiration for the entrance and the left section of the park would come from the abandoned Disney park that was going to be built just outside of DC area. Defunctland did a video on this, so you should go check it out. 2023 is when we'd see the first biggest update to the park, and of course it will be a new coaster, which will go into the plot of land formerly occupied by Flashback and Goliath. My new roller coaster will be a multi-launching coaster by Intamin. The ride will be called Perfect Storm. The roller coaster will weave itself through the entire section of the park. The coaster will dive through tunnels connecting the 2 plots of land. There would be a giant lighthouse structure that the coaster station would be built into. There would be lots of rock work and the addition of small bodies of water added to the area. 2024 is when I would start working on the Amazon section of the park, or the jungle section. Superman would be rethemed. Anaconda would make a great name for the coaster. The trains would be upgraded to rid them of those awful restraints. I want this fantastic hypercoaster to be restored back to its former glory. As you would imagine, all the building structures would need to be rethemed to fit the Amazonian theme. The Wild Mouse coaster would need to go and would be replaced with a log flume style attraction. This water ride would weave itself through the area and include some indoor sections. At the end of the 2024 season, we will see Riddler Revenge bite the dust and get torn down for future attractions. 2025 would focus mostly on the water park and kids section of the park. Any of the rides in these areas that need updated or rethemed would start the process. The water park would see an addition of a new water slide structure. The ocean theming would continue to be enhanced, including a new aquatic animal interaction with manta sand shark petting pool. Just like the space exploration section of the park, I want to see some more educational material work its way into the water park, teach kids the importance of protecting the ocean. Of course, I don't want to be hitting my guests over the head with educational material. I still want this to be a place of escapism, but at the same time maybe leave the park with a little more knowledge than when you arrived. 2026 is when we'll see our next roller coaster open in the former land of Riddler Revenge. This roller coaster will be completely enclosed, themed to Apollo missions. This would be a Gerstlauer model roller coaster and would function very similar to Kärnan, except I want the lift to be a launch, kind of like Wicked at Lagoon, but that coaster was built by Zier. Being completely enclosed, the ride would simulate your journey to the moon, including liftoff to landing on the moon. I really want to go all out with this attraction and make this roller coaster to feature the most inversions on the planet, with 15 inversions. The Apollo space missions were one of the greatest achievements in recent history, so it deserves a record-breaking attraction. So I know what you must be thinking. My plans for Six Flags New England went a little off the rails into a more unrealistic approach. I really wanted to try something different with this park. The overall feel of this park should be focused on exploration and innovation. Just like I mentioned earlier, I want the new rides to feature state-of-the-art theming and technology. If my attractions don't inspire you, then I did something wrong. I always like thinking of hypothetical situations when I have the opportunity to change things up at an amusement park or theme park, come up with my own new rides, and see what happens. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you would do if you became the owner of Six Flags New England. Please make sure to hit that like button, and as always, please subscribe so you don't miss out on more great content coming your way by XscreamThrills.